Hi, everyone. Welcome. We are so excited to be speaking today with Nora LaTorre. She is the CEO of Eat Real. She's a food systems advocate. She is a mom on a mission with some other moms that we know and might talk about today. And we're so delighted to have you, Nora. Thanks for joining.
Thank you so much. I love being part of this community
So
and the eudaimonia community. And I adore you. You know, I'm a super fan of yours. So
mutual. It's mutual. I mean, your work touches on so much. We're here today to talk about how you are going to appear as part of Experience Regeneration, which is a very different event than eudaimonia with its evidence-based lens. But your issue touches so many places within wellness and well-being that you could appear on any stage anywhere and it would be relevant to people watching, because your issue at its root, it's food in schools, but it's so much more than that, which we're going to unpack in the next 4 questions in 10 minutes. But food in schools, why should people care?
food in schools is that, magic wand that solves so many problems at once. Like it does help strengthen communities, regenerate our children's health, create community resiliency and planetary resiliency, strengthen the economy. Like it is that 4 for 1 or 5 for 1. If you start looking at it, it's like this huge ripple effect when you improve school food. And that's because it's more than 50% of kids' calories. And for low income kids, it's even higher. So, and some of our schools serve school breakfast, lunch, and supper and year round feeding. And so these calories aren't just calories, it's like essential nourishment. And either it's feeding sickness, short term and long term, and behavioral issues, and challenges for the teachers, and challenges for the students, and challenges for the families, or it's creating, immediate benefit and nourishment for the kids and long, academic success, sports success, like long-term learning success, and health and mental health happiness. So, it's really what's on the tray, and what's on our kids' trays determines how they feel today, tomorrow, and how they can thrive in life.
Wow. It's an entire trajectory that's coming right off the tray. It's wild. Yeah. So, how is food in schools a metaphor for the way that we should be living our lives and thinking about our lives? Like that, as adults, when you're beyond the classroom, how can we think about that food in schools as a metaphor for everything that we're doing?
Yeah, I think, I'm like a go-getter. I try to live as many days in the day as possible. We're in this like go, this, I love that about our country. Like we like go, 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 and we're in this kind of move forward. And I think we're all coming to this moment. Feels like there's this moment where we're trying to also just enjoy life and be present and not like rush life forward, but like trying to I think savor life more. And so I think school food is a metaphor for helping slow down time a little bit and enjoy life and focus on the current moment and connection. And food, I think, is one of the most powerful ways that we can do that. It's so centering, it's so life-giving. And so I think it's like school food is this metaphor for how we can be present and call in a moment, multiple times a day, and build connection. At school, it's where kids are coming together. So much happens in the cafeteria, so much happens around the dinner table if we let it, right? It's like friendships are built and conversations are had and moments are had. It's not just about the food too. And so I think it's this beautiful metaphor for slowing down time a little bit, and savoring life, and thinking about how do we really nourish ourselves in the current moment, and then so that we can be more present and live bigger, fuller, happier lives. And so I think the school food is that metaphor. And that's why I Eat Real, which is where I'm the CEO, and is a children's health and planetary health nonprofit where we put real food on the table at home, at school, and in national policy. And so this idea that, school food and changing the tray does change the future is central to our work every single day. And we see how when you change food, you really change lives of kids, and we can change our own lives too, even if we're not eating school food anymore.
Yeah, I love that. You've made me think how we are kind of eternal students.
Mhm.
We might leave the cafeteria, but even learning where food comes from, we're still a student at our own plate. And I love how you're touching on it's so much more than the calories. The calories are super important for kids who might have, insecurity around mealtime, but it's about the nourishment that comes as a
Mhm.
result of those calories. And that's the community piece and family piece. So what you're doing is just so important. While we're on the Eat Real, can you let people know how they can learn a little bit more about the work and how they can get involved?
Yeah, so people can go to eatreal.org and learn about our small but mighty and rapidly scaling nonprofit and help us grow the movement, help us scale more. We just reached 1 million kids and help. And what we do is we actually transform and assess with a science-based, rigorous school food certification, the
Mhm.
menu, the what's on the lunch tray, the recipes, the sourcing, the nourishment, and we look at it and we help school districts around the country overhaul their and upgrade their school food trays. And so people can learn more at eatreal.org. There's also a great resource, eatreal.org/parents, where there's a simple guide and email where people can go and send an email to their nutrition director at their school district. And it's really about being positive and supportive and saying, I'm a parent who cares. I'm a student who cares. I'm a grandma who cares. I'm a doctor, a local doctor who cares.
Yeah.
And I want to help make health a priority in our community and help support positive change. And so it's all about support and connection. And people can go there. They can find us at Eat Real Certified on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn, Nora LaTorre. So there are a lot of different ways they can get involved, from signing up from our newsletter at eatreal.org, following us on social media at Eat Real Certified, or I'm Nourished with Nora on Instagram, or Nora LaTorre on LinkedIn.
Awesome. We will be sure to link all of those in our show notes. And you did anticipate my next question, which was the resources for parents. Where do they go first? Do we go to the teachers? Do we go to the policymakers? Do we go? So you've answered that with that one simple link. Eat
Yeah,
Real.
I think eatreal.org/parents, and it's about empowering your local food service director and nutrition director with support, not going in and being like, I want this, like this kind of like negative energy of like, how do we just really acknowledge what a hero these food service directors are? They are part of the largest restaurant chain in America. Schools are bigger than Subway, Starbucks, and McDonald's combined. It's a huge job. They have to feed a ton of kids. They have like no time. It's the fastest lunch period. It's so fast. It's the shortest period in school. And so I think it's just like it's about how do we support these heroes, these American heroes, and really give them that positivity.
I couldn't agree more, because you anticipated my third question, which was how do we get involved and advocate for change without offending the people who are doing
Yeah.
this on a very
Yeah.
logistical, exhausting level every day, without, high-minded folks coming in and saying it should be like this, without the understanding of what's going into the foundation that's already
Yeah.
there.
I think it's so complex. Like, we are in there, my team and our data analysts and our registered dietitians are in there. It is
Yeah.
it is a system. Like, this is about systems change. It is a system, and it is so complex. So acknowledging like how complicated it is, how hard it is, what a big job they have, what a huge staff they have. Sometimes they have 100 people on their staff. It's like it's a huge
Yeah.
operation. So coming in with empathy for that leader and saying, and knowing that real deep change takes time. Like, like we move very fast, and like sustained long-term change is, it's like get those little wins and then let them snowball and then get more wins. And so to come in and be that cheerleader and
Mhm.
that champion as a parent or community member, and just keep saying, this way,
Mhm.
nudging and support and celebration is really helpful for us. Like, oh my goodness, like celebrating the good moments and the delicious recipes and sharing with other friends and getting involved. I think that kind of is really the spark that helps me change. And we see it all the time. We see parents in these positive ways, bringing their, school district, getting their state involved. They hear us on a podcast like this, and
Yeah.
then this conversation, and they take action. They send that email. They find
Yeah.
out who that nutrition director is, and
Yeah.
it's literally gotten districts. Why we just reached 1 million kids is because parents. It's only because
Right.
individuals in these districts, school board members, food service directors, chief business officers, families, kids have said, I want to help,
Yeah.
and let me get involved, and let me help Eat Real be a resource to these
Yeah.
school systems. And that is why we can reach another 1 million kids, and we just reached 21 states, and why we can go, nationwide.
Yeah, yeah. I'm flashing back to these memories I have when we lived in Brooklyn and I was on the PTA, And I was on the greening committee, which was actually, you think about wellness, it was like everything to do with the kids' wellness. But we had a little garden of happiness, it was called. It was maybe like, I don't know, 30 square feet in the concrete. Everything was concrete out there, but we built a little yard and it was covered in like barbed wire. And my husband was always asking me, why do you keep going to Home Depot on the weekend, but I never see it show up at our house? And I was hauling stuff into our little garden of happiness. But then you talk about those wins, that we had one champion in school. She was like the science educator, and she worked with the food system within this 5-story massive school in Brooklyn, PS 31. I love you. And when I found that the herbs had grown and would made it into the school food in the cafeteria, and the kids got to eat it and know that that came from their garden,
Wow.
it was just like, oh my God, okay,
Yeah.
wins. When the kids can eat it and know that they had a part in that growth.
Oh, yeah.
Thing.
I've seen it with my little guy he brought home. He like saved a carrot one tiny carrot, like the size, it was like, and it was like, looked like a little pinky. It was like so tiny. We all had a bite, and it was like, he was so proud of it. He grew it. He like wanted carrot everything after that. Like he just lit up. And so I think that, and then that made his connection and changed how when we went to the farmer's market or the grocery store, and like now I just see him chopping carrots more. And we talk about the nutrients in there. So I think it's like that, one carrot, one, when they were drawing radishes or something, it's just like, and like that, it really can be that eye-opening moment for a kid. And I think that's, it's working with Eat Real, but it is about that holistic change. So parents working on gardens, parents bringing in curriculum. There's this awesome group, food detectives. There's like incredible curriculum support that teachers can have. It's like, there's so many ways to get involved and usher in change.
Awesome. Well, you've already tipped your hat to a couple of these in our third question here. So, but I'm going to give you a chance to re-elucidate that if it feels helpful. So we talk in this question about either a shift or an action. Shift being kind of just a mindset, a habit change, thinking about things differently, whether it's like being cognizant of where your food's coming from. Is this, grown on a, large scale farm, or does this come from down the road in, a local CSA or something like that? Or there's an action, and, that's probably deals a little bit more with writing the letter to your local school district, or when you think about the people that you're voting in as lawmakers around you. What would you think is the most important shift or action someone can take based on either their personal choices that affect their family and immediate circle, or more broadly, like your community and society within our country right now?
Yeah, I think just this conversation about the power of real food, having it, and I think having it with your friends and with your kids is really important, because I think there's, it's when I watch it with my young kids, and I have 2 kids, a boy and a girl, and they're so Izzy and Nico. And when I talk to them about real food, and I give them a factoid, or I give them, we just sit down and we just chat about it, they are then empowered, and they'll then manage up to me. Then they have the knowledge, and it does change their habits. It's changed how they see things. And so slowing down enough to talk to your kids about real food and what does that mean? Like Dr. Lustig, who's going to be at Eudaimonia, is Dr. Lustig is our chief science officer, and he talks a lot about how if, I share this with my kids, if it, if it has a label, if a food product has a label, it's a warning label, like it's a package, it's manufactured, someone made that. It's not, totally real food necessarily. So I think, and you don't want to ever shame anyone around food. You don't want to create any, stress. But I think when you share, I just started talking to my kids about sugar. And so now they'll look at just like how much sugar it is, and knowing probably shouldn't have more than 12 grams of sugar per day, or 25 grams max. And what does that look like? And what's your favorite real food, and why? Like, what was your favorite real food as a baby? I'll like talk to them about how they love blueberries and why blueberries are so good, So I think just those are just a few different examples, but I think it's like sharing information about food and real food, and talking about real food and what does that mean. Another fun one to share with kids are that kids drink a bathtub of added sugar, and that is really damaging to the health. That much sugar, we weren't meant to consume that much sugar. So just giving them that visual, so that then they're like, okay, I fruit, game on, like, there you can have sweet things without drinking sugar. And so I think giving kids these little factoids and talking about real food and talking about with your friends, what's your favorite food? What are you craving right now? What's something that you're finding really nourishing, and like what's something that you're loving right now that's real food that's helping you feel really healthy? Talking about that as a mom or as a friend and sharing those kinds of things. I think just talking about it more regularly and not just, just having it be part of the daily conversation.
I agree with that so fully. As parents, we're so busy. We're looking for shortcuts. We're trying to we just make the decisions where the food is concerned. Kids are so hungry for agency in
Yeah.
their own lives that if you allow them a little bit of agency around food, it is mind blowing what they're capable of. Two small examples. Sorry, I don't normally give all
Yes,
these
please.
examples, but my son is so jazzed about food and where it's coming from right now that he's taken on a summer project where he can make a whole recipe from scratch. So he's designing the recipe itself. And there's been a couple that were actually total fails. Oops, you didn't know he had to do this first, but it doesn't matter. It's about him
Yeah.
having agency in the kitchen. And he took a rotten potato and he went and put it in one of my flower beds. And I was like, fine. Now we're overrun with potatoes. And he's so excited, we'll be gone for 24 hours. And he comes back. He's like, Mom, I got to go check my potato beds. My potatoes are amazing. Will you come see my potatoes? And so just
So
seeing that
cute.
come up, it's unbelievable. He's a little potato farmer. So I think that what you're talking about, giving kids that little window to have that agency, is huge.
Oh, and it's like you're gonna make a mess. Like my kids, we they're cracked eggs. Like there, it's just there's just it's half we talk a lot about we play with food, but having a looser conversation and relationship with it around just food is fun, food is delicious, food is something that you can have just so much joy around. My daughter takes a cooking around the world class after school, and she made her own cookbook with recipes. And she had her friend over for dinner and her mom the other night, and she was showing her talking through the different recipes from around the world and the cooking confidence that Izzy got from that class, and taking cooking classes with your kids, or if you can, or watching a YouTube video and making a recipe together. They're just or trying and failing at a recipe together of accidentally burning something. I may do that once in a while. You know what I mean? It's just just trying and failing and having fun with it is key. We did a at home sushi night where then she made rolls for her friends, and then we were all doing, and then they made their own, and we just had all the things out, and people were trying all these different things, and it was just so fun. And so I think it's talk about real food and have fun with it. And these examples, I love that example.
Yeah.
The potatoes.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's so good. Last question is, who is the person or resource that you think has probably inspired you most in your journey?
Oh, inspire me most. I have so many incredible, incredible people that inspire me. Of course, my mom and my dad are the top. And just one that comes to mind that I think about and kind of based on this conversation, David Funkhauser is this incredible community leader, and he was leading community when I helped build the fair trade movement around connecting with our global food system. And I met him there, and I'm an ultra runner. I'm a CEO. I'm super driven. And he would be that person for me who would say, let's just cook together. He started a cooking club where we would cook for with our colleagues. And so every Tuesday you would cook for 12 other people and bring it in. And you would bring in these wild lunches, and then you would get to enjoy the other people. So I learned to cook by having to join cooking club or getting to join cooking club and having to make food for 12 colleagues. And it was so good. And then he would have me over, and he would just talk to me about just the recipe, and we would slow down time. And so I think he's someone who in my life, and he just came and visited, and just time does slow down and slows down around food with him. And it's he's one of those people who has really taught me to savor life. And so savor life with food. And so he's just given me that gift and has been a guiding light in that way.
I love it. Sounds like a real gift he's given you. Awesome. Nora, thank you so much for your time. We're so excited to have you at Experience Regeneration. For those of you coming to Eudaimonia, you'll also see Nora in some ways that we are devising right now. So we're so proud.
Like one of my favorite weeks,
Yeah.
and I can't wait for the inaugural weekend
Yeah.
at Regeneration, and it's going to be wonderful, and I'm so thankful.
Awesome. Awesome. All the work you do, happy to build events to support it. So go check out all the resources in the show notes and come check out Nora at Regeneration in July and Eudaimonia in November. All right. Ciao, love.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.